good evening, our good people. My good name is Rebecca and she is Kezia. We have a very interesting topic and we are going to have it in series. My good people, I want you to relax and sit back and watch. We need to learn this thing. Guess what? We are losing a lot of people because of depression. So, Madam Kezia, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Are you ready to take us through the topic of depression?
Sure, I am.
Okay. Take us through.
Thank you. Good evening once again. I want to take this chance to welcome us all back to our channel as we discuss about depression. As we know, there are so many things that are happening in the world today. A lot of people are losing interest in life. A lot of people are losing interest in living in general. And the major cause of all these things is depression. So our discussion today will be about depression, understand what depression is, understand how it progresses, understand how one gets into depression, because it's not something that happens overnight. So for a start, I would want us to define or to try to make someone who does not know what depression is. Because there's someone who can be having depression and they even don't know what it is. So for a start, it's important we understand what is this thing we are calling depression. What is this big thing that is taking over a lot of people? What is this thing that is killing so many people? So depression, in short, is that inner feeling, that strange feeling you feel, a lot of sadness within yourself, a lot of sadness inside you, that ilianza pole pole and it progresses slowly by slowly until it takes over your life. So I would want us to understand, how does it start? First, depression starts as a mental takeover. Okay. There are stages that it takes. It starts by taking over your mind. It starts by projecting or making your fears look so big. It magnifies your fears. Maybe you have a fear of what will happen tomorrow, what will become of me tomorrow, what will become of my people, what will become of my children. And as you try to digest that, depression, when it starts now taking over your mind, it magnifies the whole thing. That fear is so magnified that you are like, what is this? You start now getting concerns. Fears are so much magnified because nowadays we are like, everybody is fearing what will happen tomorrow. There are no jobs. There's a lot of financial constraints. Yes. Those fears, as people try to understand, how are we going to jungle in this life? How are we going to magnify in this life? So it projects in your mind. After it has projected all those your fears, remember, it's inside your mind. It's not something that you're sharing with people. So it's happening inside you.
It is internal battle.
It's an internal battle. It's a battle of your mind. Then it progresses now to spiritual mind, to the spiritual side. It starts now taking over your spiritual side. You start seeing that God has forsaken me. God has left me. The one faith that you used to rely on, now you start living that faith and you're like, since I'm in this place, it's like God has forsaken me. It's like He has left me alone. You start forgetting all the good things that God have done for you in the past. It starts now taking over your spiritual life. The faith you used to have is replaced by something we call skepticism. You're not hopeful. You're not looking forward to a better tomorrow. You feel like God has really left me. Remember, it has started by magnifying the fears that you're having. Okay. Because of the things that you're going through. And then it goes to taking over your spiritual side. And then it now starts progressing again to your emotions. It starts now taking over your emotions. You start like wondering, how am I feeling? I'm so defeated. There's no hope. There's nothing I can do. I hope you're working together. Yeah. The way it's taking over you. As it takes over your emotion, you start feeling numb. There's nothing that is exciting you. You get even numb towards even people who are close to you. People who are really willing to help you. But now it has started taking over your emotions. Once it has taken over your emotions, you are hopeless, you feel defeated, there's nothing interesting in your life. It takes now to the other level of physical takeover. That is the time you start feeling someone telling you, squeezy, niko na ulcers. Ninaumwa na? And you didn't have ulcers. It has now started taking over your physical health. It affects you even the way you eat. Somebody who could eat well, you find that you no longer have appetite. Others find themselves eating so much. Yeah, they eat so much. It also affects how you sleep. There are people who oversleep because remember we said you're not hopeful.
Yeah.
You're feeling defeated. How do you get out of this? There are others who get solace in oversleeping. Others get solace in eating too much. So now it is starting to take over even your physical life.
Your physical life.
Yeah, you get people who tell you, nowadays I'm having so much headaches that they can't even explain where are these headaches coming from. But if you look closer, there's something that they are dealing with, and it has taken the other stages I've told you, and until now when it's starting to manifest, it has started affecting them physically. It can even get to a point where it starts affecting some of your organs, like your liver, like your kidney, because when it starts taking over your physical self, there are people who even start indulging in drugs, in alcohol, to try to suppress these fears that they are having. When they take so much alcohol, eventually it's going to affect their liver, it's going to affect. Then from that, it goes now to a social takeover.
Okay.
You've started drinking, you're sleeping so much. Now, if this person who used to be outgoing, and now because of the things they are dealing with, they have decided to always be sleeping, what will happen to their social life? They'll not be going out to friends. They'll not be sharing their things with people. So it now starts affecting your social life. You don't want to talk to people. You want to keep to yourself. You find even you're keeping wrong company. For a person who has started drinking or indulging in drugs, they used to be morally well, but all of a sudden, they have got to a very bad company yenye inawapeleka to take drugs. They become addicts. Others distance themselves from people. Yeah? That is not what we mean by this thing taking over your social life.
Your social life.
Yes. Then it advances to your finances. From your social life, now it comes to your finances. How you deal with your finances. Now, look at this person. You used to be so outgoing. You're not hopeful anymore. You don't even want to go to work. What happens if you're not going to work? You'll be sent out of work.
That's true.
You'll be retrenched. You'll be laid off.
You will have no money.
You'll have no money. So it now starts taking over your finances. Your life now, you can't earn anymore. You can't provide for yourself. You can't provide for your family. Now it starts taking over your life. If it's somebody who has a business, because not everybody is employed, you stop going to work and you don't care what happens to your business. You don't care what happens to your clients. You just talk to them the way you want. Remember, it's not because you want to. Remember where your mind is. It was taken over by your fears. It was taken over by what you're going through. Then now it's progressing. It has started now to affect your finances. Then from there, for those people who are in relationships, it starts affecting your sexual life.
True.
Now you don't have finances. You're not hopeful anymore. What do you expect? You'll now start getting away from your spouse or from your partner. You're no longer interested because there's nothing that inakupea morale in this life. There's nothing that is making you feel like you have the urge to continue. You feel like your partner now is a burden. Pleasing your partner now becomes a challenge. And as it takes over your sexual life, your libido starts going down. If it's a man, your libido goes down. You don't have appetite. Eventually, it affects your sexual life.
Yeah.
Then after that, now it goes now to something we call your life takeover. It takes over now the whole of your life. You're no longer hopeful. Remember, it has affected your finances. It has affected your spouse. It has affected your work. What else is remaining?
Friends.
It just kept you away from your friends. Now that is the point when somebody gets like, I'm no longer interested in this life. I want now to just die. I just want to go. Remember, when it starts affecting your mental status, it starts affecting your finances. You used to provide for your family. You're no longer providing. And remember, the fears that you're dealing with, we said when we started talking about depression, it's a battle of your mind. Most people are not able to share what is eating them in their mind because it's something that is happening from the inside. Now, when you stop providing for your family, what happens? Your wife will start asking you, why are you not providing? Why are you not going to work? And because you don't want to share whatever is happening, you start distancing you start distancing yourself from your spouse, from your children. Now the responsibilities that you used to do, you are no longer doing them. What will happen to the people who you are taking care of? They'll start seeing you as a failure.
That's true.
They'll start seeing you no longer care. And as they try to find out what is happening, they also may end up getting stressed.
That's true.
And remember, you're not sharing what is eating you up. So you see yourself as a failure. Your partner sees you as a failure. Your people at work sees you as a failure. People around you see you no longer beneficial. And as you try to think about all these things, you feel like there's nothing interesting in life. You just want to contemplate suicide now. You just feel like, I want to die, I want to live, because there's nothing interesting in this life.
Before you go to the other step, I have a question.
Yes.
What magnifies the fear? At the start,
Yes.
where you told us it is the fear that magnifies, gets magnified.
Yes.
What magnifies the fear?
Remember, our main discussion today is depression.
Okay.
And depression, we said, it's the constant sadness that you get. Something that is constant means it's not something that is happening for a day.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
So, for you to get to depression, ulianza pale na ka-stress.
Okay.
Ka-stress ya like, how will my life be?
Okay.
How will my children be? How is this economy taking me? And as we shall see in the series ahead, we'll see factors that lead to depression.
To
Because
depression.
depression don't just happen.
Okay.
You see. So it starts as stress. Something happened, it triggers that stress. Repeated stress that is not dealt with, that you're not able to face, leads to depression. And that is why we have decided to talk about depression, so that we help as many people as possible understand what is happening with their lives. You can talk to someone and they tell you, I can't explain what is happening. Maybe you can have friends who tell you, nowadays, I'm having so much pain in my stomach, and especially when I get hungry. That is the development of ulcers. They even don't understand it's ulcers that is developing, but it just don't happen overnight. It is something that has been happening over time, and they are not able to identify what exactly is happening.
Okay.
What is exactly is happening with their life. But that is why we are here, because it doesn't have to be this dark. Life doesn't have to be this dark. We need to understand what is happening. We need to understand ourselves. We need to understand the situations around us, so that we walk hopeful. Cut.